All right, what's up? My name is Maggie Lira, and I am a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've been a black belt for 5 years now, and I have been doing Jiu-Jitsu for almost 11.
Is this your first Alchemize camp?
This is my first Alchemize camp. I was super excited when I was invited, and it has lived up to the expectations.
So I know they had a lot of activities planned for this event. Have you gotten a chance to do any classes besides Jiu-Jitsu?
There was a bunch of activities that was planned for the camp. I have stepped into some of the more verbal things that are going on. That's the cool thing, is it's not just jiu-jitsu. They're offering a lot of the holistic and the mental health and basically everything you need to do off the mat too. So it has been very cool to kind of hear what's going on there and being able to kind of take that too. It's like when you come to teach, that's what you're focused on. So it's also been really nice to learn at the same time.
Why do you think it's important for camps like this to exist?
It's so important for camps like this to exist for multiple reasons. Obviously we're always trying to grow women's jiu-jitsu, and it is growing. So I think when you can bring as many women together as possible, it shows other women how big jiu-jitsu is for women to be able to be a part of. I also really liked that I feel like a lot of the times there are women who sign up at academies alone, and they either don't have a lot of women there or have a hard time making friends. And these are the types of camps that women feel comfortable coming to alone, because it's all women. So it gives them a greater community outside their gym as well, which I think is super important.
What's been one of your favorite memories of camp so far?
Okay. One of my favorite memories of camp so far is the fact that it is all women. This is my first time doing all women, and it's you almost get to let your hair down in a certain way as a professor, because of course when it's co-ed, mixed gender, you're not going to say certain things that you would say at an all-female camp. And obviously being a female, this is my expertise. So not only am I sharing what I know with jiu-jitsu, I get to share my experience as a female, and it relates to everyone rather than just the women at the seminar, as most seminars are co-ed. So that's my favorite thing about it.
To someone who's maybe hasn't been to a women's seminar or an Alchemize camp, what would you say to that woman that's kind of on the fence of things to kind of encourage her?
Right. I believe it's all about us doing our part. I actually wasn't somebody, I think because of the time I came up in jiu-jitsu, it was mainly men, it was hard to find females. All the females weren't really on the same page. So I truthfully was never somebody that was all right, team girl, and things like this camp wouldn't have been things that I was interested in at that time. But the more I went through the sport and saw it start to grow, I realized how important it was for me to be a part of that. And then when you do, it's like I said, it's 100% who I am. It's I'm 100% woman. So again, I get to give 100% of myself and relate to 100% of the people, rather than splitting kind of who I am at a seminar between guys and girls. So yeah. That.
So do you feel like our usual seminars, you're catering to a wider audience, so you have to kind of mellow out some of your personality, versus when you're with females, you could just...
Yeah, I think it's not so much as the personality, it's I try, I'm always very girl power and girly everywhere I go, but it's the relatable thing, it's you could see most of the guys, they'll ask more the strength questions, stuff like that, but they're there more for the jiu-jitsu. I like being able to connect with jiu-jitsu to women, in a way. So it's not so much the personality as much as being able to give 100% experience relation, because men will just never be able to relate to the things that we go through, and vice versa, of course.
Is there anything else that stands out where you want to share about your experience, anything you want to say?
Yeah. It stands out to me because truthfully, the women who are running it, I've always, worked for myself. I've always had my own business, and now I have my own gym. I have an app. I have, you know, a presence on Instagram. So I'm somebody who works for myself. You know, I run my own businesses. My mom was that way. My aunt was that way. And I am so happy to see it happening in a man's world, because jiu-jitsu, it is a man's world if we put like the numbers on paper, you know? So I've always preached that, you know, where it's like, jiu-jitsu is not about like winning or losing. That's not the only place for opportunity. So I love seeing women in our sport take advantage of all the women we do have now and bring other business opportunities into it, because it's so much more than just a martial art.
If you could like summarize like how you felt here in like a few words, what are some adjectives that come to mind?
So cool. Oh my gosh. The first one is inclusive. I went to school for health science and sport exercise, but I took a focus in coaching. And that was one of the biggest things we were always told was inclusivity. And women are so good at being inclusive that when you put them all together, you really feel that. So I think more than anything, it's inclusivity. And that's what everybody wants. You know, you're not gonna know, I like being a homebody, I like being by myself, but when it comes to events, when it comes to things, we all wanna be included. So that's what this camp was for me, was just, I loved seeing the inclusivity of everything that went on.